so today is a kitchen morning, apparently. I'm not a homemaker. I did not get a housekeeper gene, as you can tell by the pile of dishes yet to be put away. I did not get a homemaker gene. My mom was all that, and she kept all those genes to herself. But since starting up homesteading.com with my friend Martin, and I realized that your home is your homestead. Regardless of what your home looks like, it's your homestead. And I love the concept of a homestead. I'm lazy, but I love the concept of a homestead. And what that means is grow your own food, whether it's basil on the windowsill or a full all garden. Preserve your food, cook your food from scratch, and that's where we are today. So I have turkeys, pasture-raised turkeys that my brother sourced for me, and so it's time to cook one up. Several years ago, I did a turkey out of necessity, cooking from frozen, and it got such rave reviews from family. They absolutely loved it. So I am a big fan of cooking from frozen. The only drawback is that you can't get the innards and stuff out of the center cavity before you cook it. So anyway, here's what I do. So I have my rather small onions that I grew in my garden. So what I'm going to do is cut off the end bit and this little part and put the whole thing in the bottom. I'm going to put about half a dozen in the bottom. So I'm just going to cut these up. So I have about half a dozen of these that I'm just going to put in the bottom of my pan. So this is an antique, vintage, whatever you want to call it, pan. And I envision when I use it that all the expertise and the homesteading genes that have cooked with this pan over the generations comes through for me and fills in the blanks for me. The onions are underneath the chicken that has been washed off. Then I'm going to put a couple cups of water in that. Okay, so what I did there was I usually put butter on top of it because I love the skin. But pounds of butter are between $5 and $7 a pound, and lard is about $3. So I've put lard on there and then pepper because that's what it's all about, to hold that pepper. So now we move on to my starter that I am working on. And I need to, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of water, a 1/4 cup of flour. Handy dandy right now, I've put a 1/4 cup measuring cup into that. Easy peasy. We stir that up and we leave it for another day. And we use my little handy dandy calendar to mark it off because yesterday I almost forgot. Mark off that I did it. Look. Bubbly, bubbly. That means it's happy. Okay, so now we're going to make some bread. A little story with the bread. So my body doesn't like bread. I've discovered that over the many years. I still eat the bread, and every time I eat the bread, I have inflammation. So don't eat the bread. However, when you make homemade bread, because I do love making homemade bread, you gotta eat it. So this last batch that I made, and I let it sit that long, 5 hours or something, before I add the extra flour and then let it rise again. I made 2 loaves, gave one to the neighbor. I had bread every day, sometimes 2 slices of this homemade bread every day. and my body has not had a reaction to it. So I can't wait till the sourdough bread is a success, because I think it's going to be good. So, all right, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a quarter cup of lard, not a quarter cup, 3 tablespoons. It's pretty close to a quarter cup, I think. 3 tablespoons of lard, melting and softening in 2 cups of hot water. One. So while I prepare the flour and the yeast part, I'm just going to let that sit, and it'll just soften the lard up to mix in easier. So I'm going to take a tablespoon of dry yeast, because I don't have my sourdough ready yet. Now this I keep in the freezer, and it works just fine, and it's been in there, I'm going to say, more than 2 years. So, and it's still good. So in that, 2 cups of flour, and 3 tablespoons sugar, and 2 teaspoons salt, and a quarter cup of powdered milk. So this is freeze dried. So milk that I have freeze dried and turned into a powder. Mix this up. And this is what we let sit for 10 minutes to 5 hours. And I love these little, call them shower caps, but they're food safe. So there we go. Put this on my stove and let it rest.